Welcome back to another hour of Scotch Hour. I'm Noah.
And I'm Jesse.
All right. Well, first off, happy Thanksgiving. This will be coming out on Thanksgiving Day. And this evening's lineup is going to be the Deveron 12-year-old. From there, we'll do our shout-outs, get-it-togethers, our restaurant review of Maggiano's Little Italy. And then our Smarter Challenge is to do something we normally wouldn't do. And I had suggested it be regarded towards something like with modern technology, but that was left open to interpretation however we wanted to do that. So hopefully you'll get to hear some sage wisdom from us on doing something that we normally wouldn't do.
Scotch Review.
All right, as Noah mentioned, this week's single malt scotch is the Deveron 12-year. And this is an interesting little predicament. So we landed here because taste buds weren't all 100%. Noah's recovering from a quick cold, and we wanted to make sure we didn't best ourselves with an expensive adventure and miss any little piece of it. So we slid down the road a little bit, maybe a lot of it, to the Deveron 12 single malt scotch, a Highland single malt scotch. And it's interesting because it is a Highland single malt scotch because Speyside is in Highlands. However, it is also Speyside. And they don't like to say that about themselves, which is kind of interesting. Little few tidbits about the distillery. This is not from the Deveron distillery. It's actually from the Macduff Distillery Company. It was founded in 1960, although records say 1962, by Macduff Distillers Limited. Distillery's official name in 1972, Macduff was acquired by William Lawson Distillers, but official bottling come mostly under the former names. In 92, also Martini and Rossi were acquired by the Bacardi Corporation. Bacardi put their subsidiary, John Dewar and Sons, in charge of the Macduff Distillery. Macduff was transferred to John Dewar and Sons by the Bacardi Corp. Bacardi, Dewar and Sons still manage the distillery today, and Macduff is a major component in their blends, like William Lawson. So this is kind of reminding us of a Cardew, which the Cardew actually turned out to be a pretty damn good scotch. But Cardew used largely by other scotches to blend.
Like Johnny Walker.
Walker in that case. Yes, exactly. So it would appear that, hey, first of all, this is a damn new distillery. The Deveron 12 comes from the Macduff Distillery. A fraction of the age of some of the others we've talked about, Lagavulin, Oban, Ardbeg, the Macallan. The list could go on and on and on, but we're just going to continue with this. A few other little quick tidbits. The name of the distillery changed back and forth between Glen Deveron to Macduff. It is located on the eastern edge of Speyside, which is interesting because, again, Speyside, eastern edge, you can't get any further away from what would be a Highland Scotch that is not a Speyside Scotch, half a mile from the Moray Firth to the east of Banff. Water that they use for this is from the river Deveron, but ultimately the water actually used in the stills is drawn from the Gellyburn Spring, another one of these springs where they're drawing water from a source that they are largely, if not totally, in control of. One of Scotland's more recent distilleries, again, built in 1960, really completed in 1962. It's going to be an interesting adventure to see what exactly this Scotch does. And we don't need to spend a ton of time on this because it doesn't have the history of the Glenmorangie, the Macallan, Lagavulin, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Really relatively new. And what we're more so hoping for is that they make a sexy single malt in opposition to just being new.
Yeah, exactly. And as far as tours go, it does say here that their visitor policy is not generally accessible at this moment in time. They don't offer a telephone, and they do give a website. And on their website, there's a couple of videos that you can watch, like from the brand ambassador that talks a little bit about the Deveron, and he talks about how he likes it neat, he enjoys it on the rocks, and then he really, if you ask me, he uses the last option to talk about using it as a mixer, especially for like this like mixed apple drink. And so this might be one of those scotches where it is made somewhere else, and since it is a consortium that kind of put it together, maybe they are just using it more as like a blend, but then they've decided to give it a shot as a single malt as well. I'm not exactly sure, but hopefully it does. Hopefully it gives itself a decent representation is what I'm hoping for this evening. And even though I'm slightly a bit under the weather, I'm hoping I can still pick up some nice hints from it.
All right, so without further ado, we're going to jump right into this. Right off the bat, I actually dig the colors of the canister, enjoying that. Nice, solid canister. Do appreciate that to this day. And upon opening, it's immediately interesting. I've never seen this before. The bottle is in a bag in the canister. So pretty decent canister.
Comes with its own Jimmy hat or raincoat.
Yeah, one raincoat that will absolutely fail on anything larger than a Vienna sausage mini. The bottle itself is frosted glass.
For her pleasure.
Pretty traditional color. Feels like it's a real foil. Actually kind of digging the colors, the way the light comes through it. Not sure... I mean, how amazing that might look on a shelf if it didn't have light. It'd be pretty boring. But once you get some light going through, it's pretty exciting. And man, thank God for, phones and technology that we don't normally use. Like the light through the bottle is pretty cool, seeing that come through. So as you're enjoying that, truly enjoy that. There is some further texture on the glass, a little map, so to speak.
So let me ask you this. You're a little bit closer at it, and you're looking at it. You can see the light. But is it like a frosted blue glass, and then like because of the color of the scotch, you get the yellow and blue make green?
Yes, absolutely. It is a frosted light blue glass or medium blue glass. The scotch is bringing in that yellow and giving you the green. So after a couple sips, I'm curious to see how blue this bottle really looks. It could be a fucking win. But we're about to find out. The label itself, I love the blue color, pretty fantastic. We're going to jump right into peeling this topper off. It is a legitimate foil. I like that. It is a legitimate foil to the extent of it is a thick legitimate foil. This is not generic foil or tin foil. It has a true wood topper that is also etched or laser engraved.
Okay, what is it with these like lower...
going all out with this thing.
What is it with like lower price scotches where they actually use like real wood? They do etching on them. There's actually a really good presentation going on with this so far. I find
it's a W.
And here's the thing, and this is what surprises me before you even pop it. I'm hoping it's a real cork and not a press cork. But before you pop it and we find out, I just want to say this. There's some bottles out there that we tried that are like over $100.
How about $300 bottles that have press cork?
That have press cork or even like a plastic topper. So I'm just wondering, like, how is it like a bottle here that's like $40? You see like the presentation here. They actually put some thought into this, like the coloring of the frosted glass, the shiny blue there on the label. You got like real thick foil wooden topper. Like I'm just, I don't know. I'm a little bit surprised. Like it seems like they're putting more effort into their presentation than some of these nicer houses
For sure.
or distilleries.
For sure. Hopefully the Scotch isn't shit. I didn't just pay for the bottle.
Maybe that's all we're paying for is the bottle.
All right. Well, we're going to take the next step because, again, this is a legitimate. Like, did you feel that? Like, it is legitimately freaking laser etched in there. That is a great
And I'm liking it. I'm liking it.
I am too. Okay, here we go. We're about to find out. Please don't let us down. Please don't let us down. Real cork, bro.
Real cork.
Solid real cork. None of that pressed, generic, fake champagne bullshit. I don't even know what to say right now.
I don't know. I'm surprised. I really am.
I am too. All right, if you want more, holla.
All right.
Holla.
I'm just hoping like I can give this thing
Decent score.
yeah. Well, I'm not sure about this score.
You got a 5 for presentation.
I'm not going to necessarily say a decent score because I'm not sure what it is. But I just hope I can do it justice as far as like with my taste buds and nose and stuff like that. All right. I guess on to our tasting notes and warp speed. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, the Deveron 12 is so far been quite a surprise for me. I think it really starts off with the presentation. When you look at the canister itself, I'm not a huge fan of the double colors of the I don't know, is that cream and
Sea and land.
yeah, I get the sea and land part, but I kind of would wish they would have stayed with like the creamy color all the way through, and then using the blue as a more of like a highlight, like they do in the upper part of the label, or like in the label in the upper part of the canister. But overall, that's just like a little minor thing for me. I do like that they have a canister. I thought it's a little bit odd that they use like a plastic bag in there, but it shows that they care about their bottle.
Taking the frost.
And then with the frosted blue, or I should say maybe it's like, well, I don't know, is that like an aqua blue or maybe?
Sea blue.
Sea blue maybe? Yeah, or aqua.
Blue. Aquaman blue.
But like with that color there and the wooden top and the real cork, I love the actual label on the bottle itself and the shine and the foil blue there that makes like the 12 sparkle or shine. Honestly, the presentation when compared to like some of these other ones that are like costing hundreds of dollars, and they're not even putting wood, they're not doing the laser etching in, and they're using pressed cork or like cheap foil. I have to give this a 5 out of 5 for presentation. I really do. The color. I was surprised by the color. Now, I don't know if they added any color in there. I didn't find any information on that.
Doesn't say.
But I put it as a nice golden amber coloring. So I gave that a 5 out of 5 as well. So it's so far knocking it out of the ballpark. Then it comes into the meat and potatoes here. And I was hoping that it would not let me down. So when it comes to the bouquet or the nose, if you will, the first things that, and hopefully like my senses are not too totally off, but the first thing that I got was vanilla and toffee with some brown sugar or maybe even caramelized sugar along with some apple pie spices. Which I really like. From what I could smell, I really enjoyed those, and I gave it a 26 out of 30. The palate here, I got like a hint of apple with maple sweetness, followed by this like a cork taste, like a corkiness, or like sometimes like when you first pop open a champagne, the way that you get that smelly cork smell.
Fucking love that.
And that's kind of like what I got in my taste there after that apple maple sweetness. Then it was followed up by some little bit more malt and a tad bit of brown sugar. So it kind of went like sweet, that corky and then sweet again. I don't know, like maybe my taste buds are all messed up there, but I enjoyed it. And like you, I like that smell of that wet cork or whatever. So I gave that a 26 out of 30 as well.
Oh my God.
Now the finish, I found it lacking really. I found it to be short, slightly bitter with an oaky dryness. And to me, I go, think Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino. You know, when he's like that grumpy old guy sitting on the porch. He's short, he's bitter, and he's a bit dry.
The guy's like 6'3". He's not really short.
No, I'm talking about temper-wise short.
Oh, okay.
Not like statured short. So yeah, I put here short, slightly bitter, and oaky with the oaky dryness. I gave that a 25 out of 30, so I have a grand total of 87 points if my math is correct.
It is.
And I was, like I said, I was pleasantly surprised by this. I can see why possibly why the brand ambassador talks about using it as a blend. I can see how it could be a good blend if you're looking for a Scotch and a blended drink. Because it does have some nice flavor to it from what I could pick out of it. Would I take it to a black tie affair? No, I wouldn't. It's not the message I really would want to deliver. Would I take it to a poker night? Yeah, I probably would. This is like one of these ones where I think it'd be a good talking point and you can discuss it. And like the bottle is cool. And honestly, I think with the bottle, because of like the frosted coloring of it, it seems to me like it'd almost be kind of cool. Like, I think you see it in movies sometimes or whatever, but like putting a candle with a melted wax over it and stuff like that. I think this bottle would be kind of cool with that if you had a few of those like around in the house and stuff like that. So, do I think it has a place on the shelf? I think for $40, if you're just looking for an everyday, cheapo Scotch, I think this could fill the void. My biggest wonder here, though, because with some of these like lower end Scotches that we've tried, is how does it hold up the next day? And that's not something that I can predict at this point in time since we just opened it. So I don't know how it would be within 24 to 48 hours. So that would be the one part where maybe my 87 doesn't really hold that well. Because I don't know how well it holds over time. But I can only speculate that from what I saw out of this, that it would do a decent job holding up afterwards. But that's my review right there.
All right. Well, I was laughing because it's kind of interesting. So I'm right there with you. Like, I don't, even just opening this thing, they not only etched and engraved this wood topper. I like the canister two-tone. I wish they would have done it a little bit different with you. I don't think it's the right blue. Not quite sea green enough blue.
Maybe that's what it is. Or maybe if
it doesn't make me think ocean, but that's where they were going.
Yeah.
And they should have like cut down with the V.
Yeah.
But if you do that, you screw up the water.
Yeah.
It's a struggle. But I agree with you. Like the canister, high quality, it's thick. Like it's made to protect this. They got the plastic in there to protect the etched glass. The foil was legit. This wood topper, though, like lacquered. It's not just that they etched it and engraved it. They went the extra inch or the angry inch and did the next step. I dig the bottle. I dig the label. I'm right there with you, presentation of 5, and they don't often get that, especially for a $40 Scotch. This was at Bevy's, $39.99, ridiculously cheap in some senses for a single malt of 12 years. Color, I'm right there with you again. I love the color, 5 out of 5. I think it is a nice summer gold, and I'm going to leave it there because really where the next couple pieces come in is where this Scotch gets its name for me. On the nose, it is sweet, fresh baked apple pie right off the bat. It's got those pieces of, there's that hint of malt, which is kind of the crust, the apple, the vanilla, the toffee. I get a hint of brine And that's one of the things I actually love about this nose.
Man, I wish I got the brine.
Dude, the brine is with the green apple, though. It's like intermixed. It like makes the green apple pop.
Yeah, I on my nose, I don't even think I said I got apple. I said apple pie spice, but I didn't really get apple.
I'm getting the whole apple and apple pie spice, and I think what it is one of those things where you take a fruit and you just sprinkle a teeny little bit of salt on it and makes the flavors pop.
See, now you're making me envious. I wish I would get that smell.
Dude, that's what I'm getting on the nose. So interestingly enough, though, when you think about like what is a true Scotch and everything else and vice versa, I literally gave it a 26 out of 30, just like you. So right now to the T, we're 100%. The palate. I love the palate. Vanilla. I shouldn't say vanilla. Vanilla, toffee, apple. Like you went to a carnival and you got a toffee apple that had a flavor of vanilla in there. But then it's got this little kick of ginger. It's very mild at this point. Then, as you mentioned, the sweet to the not so sweet to the sweet again. It literally goes from vanilla, toffee, apple to ginger to butterscotch to malt. That's all on the palate. It is a super great palate. 26 again. The finish, 100% with you here. Dry wood. That's what lubricants were made for. Soft oak. Not the kind of sexy, spicy oak that draws in pepper, but there is almost a white pepper ginger resonance in the finish. It is a short finish. Like the palate goes away and then you just get these little hints, but it leaves you needing more, not wanting more, needing more just to quench that dry thirst. I only gave it a 24 out of 30 there. So my total score is an 86, 1 point lower than your 87.
It's time for our shout-outs.
Shout out! Woo! I actually have to give a shout out for just a few nights ago, 2 nights ago, the Las Vegas Grand Prix and Formula One for putting together what could have been let's face it, a shitty track and a shitty race. It could have been. People were making fun of it. It's an upside down pig. All these different things. The race was great. Intentional or not, sometimes luck is better than skill. That could absolutely be the case with this Las Vegas race because it provided phenomenal entertainment. The long straights and then the curvy bits, the legs, the tail, and the nose, if you will. Let's face it, this is a racetrack that forced drivers to choose downforce or speed. So are you going faster through the turns or faster in the straights? Are you going to trust the skill if you're going faster in a straight and you have to pass right at the edge of a turn? I think it was fantastic because I don't know that this modern era of drivers is truly used to that with all the other technology with suspension and tires that has gone into providing them these dream machines. Not saying I can drive this dream machine like they can, but they are gifted this piece and it provided great entertainment. Shout out to Verstappen winning another one. Shout out to Leclerc winning, or I shouldn't say winning, passing Pedro. Sergio Perez. Yeah. Passing Sergio Perez right before the end of the race to that last chicane. Brilliant moves, great clean racing. Yeah, a few penalties here and there, deserved or not. Everyone got on with it. But so Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez even finishing in third. But really for Verstappen, the reason I would say this is he is in a point where he owes the Perez nothing. And a couple laps before the end of the race, Leclerc is on a hot one. And man, Sergio needs some help. And the team asks him being Verstappen to slow down to give him a little bit of a tow. In other words, clear the air in front of his car, give him a chance to stay in front of Leclerc. I didn't think he was going to do it because young Verstappen would have never done that. He dropped back almost 3 seconds in a matter of a turn on this track and tried to really help his teammate out and the team out. Verstappen continues to amaze me with the maturity that this driver has. He's not sitting there crying like, in my opinion, Hamilton does to this day about, everything's terrible. It made me happy. So great job to all of those aforementioned drivers for Formula One in Las Vegas for putting together a great track and a great race. Thank you for the entertainment.
All right, so my shout out goes to Verstappen, but for a different reason. I love the fact that his uniform that he wore, or his jumpsuit, was an Elvis jumpsuit.
That was pretty good.
And because he complained about this race like all weekend, and then he like pops out on race day with this Elvis suit, and that was like freaking classic. and then when he gets penalized 5 seconds by the race stewards, he's like, okay, right, okay, whatever. Tell him thanks. He's like, I don't give a F. I'm still gonna win this race.
Like, get on with it.
So I thought that was pretty funny. And then,
thank them for me.
And then really, I think the next kind of cool part that I saw, because I was surprised I was up for this because I was feeling really bad that day.
The race was that good. It kept us up.
Well, the thing is, like, when I got home from teaching and I was sick, I passed out like right after I ate dinner. And oddly enough, I woke up like 2 minutes before the race started. I don't know how that happened. So I caught the race. And then I didn't fall back to sleep because it was that exciting because like there's so many great passes and stuff like that. And then one of my favorite parts, because I watched a little bit at the end, was when all three of them got into the Bentley and Leclerc was like, that was a really fun race. I really enjoyed it. And you could tell, like, as he's talking to the other two drivers, like, he actually really did enjoy the whole back and forth between them. And he didn't seem all that upset being pushed off the track by Verstappen there in that first turn when they first got started off. And I think he understood why Verstappen kind of went wide, because I think Verstappen explained to him like he had no traction either.
Neither of them did. Otherwise, had Leclerc had traction, Leclerc would have held his line, and they both would have been out of the race.
So I just want to give a shout out to Verstappen for making like that extra part really fun just by doing those like little extra side bits there. And also for Leclerc being such a, like being, authentic in that ride. It's kind of, sometimes you wonder if people are being authentic when they know they're on camera like that. And you can kind of tell he had actual enjoyment from that race. And I thought that was cool.
It is cool. It is also super interesting because the people who get paid way too much money, most likely, to make these great tracks, they didn't make this track. Like, Vegas did what they could with what they had, and it ended up being dynamite. So I loved it too. My shout out
or Get It Together.
Sorry, my Get It Together. My shout out goes to everything mentioned. My Get It Together goes to the team that wasn't mentioned in there. Dude, I don't know if you saw all the shit that Toto Wolff and Mercedes are putting out. We're ready for Vegas.
I didn't say anything.
They will not wait. They put Vegas in the hall. It was terrible. I actually felt bad at points for Russell and Hamilton. Like, what are you doing? Like, your cars were not ready for this. Not the engine. The Mercedes is failing them. Or maybe it's not the Mercedes is failing them from an engine standpoint or an aerodynamic standpoint. It's that the drivers just aren't dealing with these things well, which is another possibility. But Mercedes team is how I should put it. That's my Get It Together.
All right. Well, my Get It Together is going to go to the Democrats who put together the January 6th committee. Apparently, they destroyed like hours of like videotapage from the January 6th event that happened, because recently the House Republicans had released a bunch of hours. Like they released a lot of film showing like what actually happened there. So now that it's out in the public, I think it's kind of nice that we can kind of see like what's going on, and at the same time, you can kind of see how much that January 6th pony show that they put on was a true travesty of our American government and like where it's gone. So I just think the Democrats should get their act together.
This week's restaurant review, a revisit to a remodeled Maggiano's Little Italy in the DTC, so Centennial, Colorado, Denver Tech Center.
I'll go first, but I won't really talk about the meal because I'll let you describe the meal because we got the exact same meal. So my first impression, the parking lot, or getting into the parking lot, that parking lot's always a little bit goofy in my opinion. Just because it's not like one big solid parking lot. It's like it has like sections, like it's all kind of broken up and like in its own little pods. And like in the pod area, like where we parked, there's like a bunch of like dumpsters right there, which seemed really weird. But anyways,
thought the remodel was over, motherfuckers.
You know, when you first walk in the bar area there and where the hostess stand is, it still looks fairly similar before the remodel. But then when you actually make it into the main dining hall area, I do like how they have like the tables in the middle with the white, the black tablecloths with white on there. So you got like a nice white and black look going on there. So I thought that looked kind of nice. In the booths around the main dining area, those tables had like a kind of like a marble looking table. I don't think they're actually true marble, but I didn't try to like move them or anything like that. To like,
They're heavy.
Are they?
Yeah.
But I think those looked really nice. What I didn't like, and I think you've mentioned this before, how before the remodel they had like a lot more wood, maybe wood paneling or whatever, up on the walls going all the way up. Now it's like you have like wood paneling up to a certain level, and it's just like this bland gray or white color, and I don't know. It just looked a little bit cold and not all that great. I honestly didn't like it. It just didn't feel nice, warm, and cozy inside like it used to. You know, like sometimes like when you go to a place, it feels like you went, it's more like an event going there. And now it just feels like I'm going to, I don't know, any other kind of like Italian restaurant almost in a way. But I will say Alyssa, I think that was her name, the waitress that we had, she's probably one of the better waitresses we had in a long time. And she did an excellent job. The food was still great. I'll let you describe the food. Would I take a date there? I probably would still take a date there, but that's not going to be my first place I would go anymore. Just because I don't really like the interior as much as I used to. The wait staff is still just as good. I think the food is still just as great. So the food and wait staff, I'm still giving them like a solid 9, I think, out of these two. The atmosphere, though, I'm giving it more like a 7. Food value, I don't know. I think the value might have dipped a little bit, but that could be a little bit due to inflation and stuff like that. So I'm going to go with a 7 on that. So you got like 2 9s, 2 7s. So I guess I'll round out basically at an 8. Is it still a destination place? And oddly enough, I'm going to say yes, because there's right around in that area, so to speak. I don't know very many other like as good of Italian restaurants in that area. So if I'm going to be in that area, that would be my destination spot to go for Italian food. So yeah, I think when I meet friends there, yeah. I guess that's it about that right there. So I'll let you describe the food and all that.
All right. It's interesting because I think if we were to have the opportunity to revisit the old Maggianos and the new Maggianos within a 1 week period, it would really change how, and I don't want to say low, but how we scored the previous experience. And what I mean by this is, as we get into this, let's dive into the food first. We went in, had some of their cheapest happy hour house wine, Diamante, a red blend from Italy. You can't buy it in any liquor stores. It was okay. I preferred their old Rosso Coppola. But when you're trying to increase ticket price, sometimes the best way to do that is to introduce new wines that can not be classified by a liquor store price, so justifying them increasing your margin right along the way. It wasn't bad, it wasn't great to me. With that, and then next moving forward, this is where we both just kept it simple and straight. We went in. Part of this was to re-experience really the whole experience of Maggiano's and consider the atmosphere, what's changed, what's good, what's bad, what's not. We went in, and at one point in time we were there long ago with Marissa, you reminded me, and they had a seasonal dish, the lobster ravioli. Well, they don't offer that anymore. They haven't for a while, apparently. But what you can still offer, even though it's not on the standard menu, you will pay a pretty penny more for it, is the mushroom ravioli. Now, with that, you add the black truffle oil cream sauce, and then you have them top it with some lobster crab meat. So you're paying a little bit extra for each of these steps. For me, the dish was divine. The extra black truffle oil cream sauce is amazing. The lobster on top, the claw meat in particular, sweet and delicious. The mushroom ravioli themselves, if you're a mushroom fan, fantastic. Well done. I don't know if they're any better, the ravioli themselves, than they used to be at twice the price nearly that they charge nowadays, but still delicious, especially with the extra additions. We kept it pretty simple after that. Noah took a take-home tiramisu. I took a take-home 4-cheese ravioli, which I did eat the next day. God damn, I'm glad you made me recommended that. I almost walked out without getting it. So damn good for $6 freaking. That's the best part of my value. So with that though, here's where it gets really interesting, is because when I truly incorporate what it used to be like to experience the old Maggiano's, a darker environment, more intimate in my mind, a little more comfortable, more private. Well, it made you stay longer in the restaurant. And it also made me want to go back. And this new location and the atmosphere it's not that the location changed, it's just the environment inside with the remodel doesn't make me want to go back. The food is great. I want the food. I don't want to go back to the restaurant. I don't know that Maggiano's really panned this one out well, the managing staff or the people who decided on all these remodels. So how I would explain this is the old environment. I used to go easily once every 4 weeks with Marissa or with you for a lunch, for a dinner. I was there sometimes twice a month. Now I've been there twice in 6 months, and I don't care to go back in the next several months. Like, the dish was delicious. The service was great. The environment doesn't make me want to go back. So I'm actually changing my old score. And I'll actually say opposite of you. This is not a date destination for me. I would rather go across the street and go get a pizza at Marco's Coal-Fired Pizza, or go get a burger at the Metropolitan Bar and Grill, or any number of their other dishes. Those feel more intimate, more relaxed. I want to spend more time there. In here, I wanted to get out. I think that they had a great intention, because at the time when COVID was ending and they couldn't staff and they're trying to turn tables as fast as possible, they figured out how to do that, make an environment that's like a goddamn McDonald's, make it uncomfortable, make people not want to stay. They mission accomplished. Now, the problem there is, now, is this a place I want to take a date? No. Will I meet a friend there? No, unless I'm really craving Italian. Like, I'm not recommending this to a friend. Part of that recommendation, though, goes to, even though the food for me was a 9, the atmosphere at best was really a 6. The service was a 10. The location is only a 7. Parking lot's not great. Value, because of all these things incorporate to value and total. Value and total really are almost the same score. Value and total both end up being a 7. And it could be the same damn food and still 20% more expensive, but in the old atmosphere where it made me want to get dressed up because it made me feel good to. Here, I was looking around, I'm like, I understand why these fools are wearing t-shirts and holy jeans. That's what Maggiano's wants. That's what Maggiano's gets. I will go pay twice as much somewhere else. And that's another point is, any other time I've gone to Maggiano's, even if I don't finish it, I order a second bottle of wine, multiple drinks, other things. I want to stay. That night, I'm like, let's get out here. Like, I think we both were. So ultimately, it's a 7 for me. Not super impressed. Still, but man, the service was a freaking 10. Alyssa, great
did
job.
a good job. She really did.
And I did fill out that survey and let them know that. And then, man, the food was still a 9. Like, that dish to me was delicious.
Smarter challenges.
This week's Smarter Challenge was to do something that we normally wouldn't do, and then I kind of like put the regarding like toward like modern technology, but I think we both kind of did stuff a little bit outside of like the modern technology part too, because as much as I think maybe we might have wanted to avoid some modern technology stuff, it just wasn't very practical for us to do it this week. So I don't know if you want to go first saying some of the things that you did, or if you want me to go first.
I can mention one. You can mention one. We can just bounce back and forth.
Okay.
My first one, here's something that's interesting. Normally, I find this neat anytime I'm watching a show or a movie. I have to finish it. And the first big piece was I started to watch Knives Out and walked away. I love this movie. I walked away. I didn't stay to finish it.
So, all right. So why did you choose that movie, and why did you choose to do this? And how did it make you feel?
So it's interesting. Why I chose to do it was simply because what would I not normally do? Like, what are some things, just throwing something into the mix. What wouldn't I normally do? Like, I would normally finish any movie, particularly a movie I love, Knives Out, Daniel Craig, everyone in there, absolutely amazing, great cast, well directed. But I chose to do it because, like, what does this feel? I'm days later, and I want to go back and watch it still.
Is it you want to go back and watch it all the way from the beginning, or just pick up from where you left off so you can finish
I really just want to pick it up from where I left off and finish it, because when it comes to something like that, I hate not finishing it.
Does it kind of give you like an anxiety, like you haven't finished something and that it needs to be done for you to kind of like get that out of your mind?
I think that's exactly what it is. It's not so much anxiety, but it's just this tension of I didn't finish. Like, I failed because I didn't finish. Almost doesn't count, as my mom said, as we talked about a week from today. We could go.
Well, hopefully, you're not telling her that you didn't finish.
My whole point is,
sorry,
that
I didn't finish, man.
That's what she said. But with that, yeah, it's weird. At the end of the day, if I had had a better reason not to finish, like, oh shit, the house is on fire, I need to leave, I don't think I would ever think back. Or, oh, hey, like, Aiden needs me, Mila needs me, there's a reason not to do this. It would be a whole different story. But because there was no reason, I just was like, okay, done.
So, like, what part did you decide to get up and leave?
Right when it's getting exciting, when Daniel Craig's character tells the vomiter, if you will, all right, tomorrow morning we begin. I'll see you then, Watson.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious to see like where you decided to stop it at. Because if you stop it like right at like a good part, that makes it even worse.
Well, that's just it. Like literally that to me is a good point though, is because that's when he's explained to her this machine will come to the truth. You're going to be part of this. And she doesn't want to be any part of that. And it's when it's like the middle point, the halfway point of the movie, when everything truly gets like, okay, who done it good?
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So one of the first things I did is I went grocery shopping 2 different times. And I went out to dinner without my cell phone. And I wanted to, like, my whole idea when I first proposed this idea, the original thought was to go a whole week without my cell phone. But it was a bad week for me to even think about this idea because I was in the middle of teaching. So, like, I started a class on Saturday, and then I had finished the class this past Saturday, Sunday. So I went Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, yeah. So that whole week in between, I needed to kind of keep my phone with me in case I had one of my learners reach out to me for like an answer key to a worksheet I gave them, because I didn't give out the answer sheets until after they text me saying that they were done and showing proof that they finished their worksheet. Excuse me. And so I just did it for like a little bit of short stints. The first time I went to the grocery store, I didn't really notice me not having my cell phone until I got into my car and I started freaking out. Like, what did I do with my cell phone? Where's my cell phone at? Because like usually I put my cell phone onto the car charger in my car, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I left it at home. And then when I went to go eat dinner at another night without my cell phone, I felt really antsy not to have the cell phone because I've noticed this even with myself as well as like watching other people, but whether whether I'm at or other people at a restaurant or even inside a house or where you're visiting with friends and family, sometimes there's always a point where like it seems like everybody's on their phone looking at their phone, and there's not that true human interaction, right? And so I just remember like being at the restaurant and this is where I would normally pull out my cell phone as I'm waiting for my food to like read articles or watch something on YouTube or whatever, just to kind of kill the time till my food got there. Cause usually when I go out to eat, it's all by myself. So, this is just a way for me to entertain myself until my food gets there. And I was getting really antsy because I'm like I don't have anyone to talk to. I've got nothing to look at. Like I'm like, I'm reading.
He's telling you the females in the restaurant were not attractive.
I kept on like, how sometimes they put like something up on the table or whatever. I read that thing like 3 times, like what the freaking happy hour stuff was or whatever.
Monday special, half price burgers.
So I tell you what, I did not enjoy that. I really did not enjoy not having my cell phone to do something with while I waited for my food. It really made me feel uncomfortable not having that. And then the other time when I went to the grocery store, sometimes, like most of the time, if there's stuff I'm buying for a recipe, I'll put it into my cell phone. So that way when I'm at the store, instead of like writing down like a real list or whatever, I put it in my phone because I know I'm going to have my phone with me. And this time around, I didn't write out a list because I didn't think about it. And because usually I would put it in my phone, but I didn't take my phone with me. And I don't know. I wish I had my phone so I could see what else I needed to buy. So I found that to be a little bit, I don't want to say discomforting or anything, but it was it just wasn't. I think if it was back when I was younger, when we didn't really have cell phones, I would have had a list with me, so it wouldn't have bothered me. But now I didn't have a list with me, and I didn't have my phone with me, so it made me feel, I guess, more uncomfortable. I guess I don't know, just not at ease. But the one thing I did notice is not having my phone on me. I actually didn't. The one part I did not mind is I did not mind that people couldn't reach me. I didn't mind like not being able to text people. I did not mind not receiving a phone call. Like that stuff didn't bother me. It was just more about me being able to access my phone to like read things, like articles or watch videos. So that's kind of like what I found about like not having my phone on me.
I find that true and interesting because much like for you, what does it feel like for you when you don't finish a movie? Does that bug you at all?
Depends on
or do you just know you got the technology so you pick up where you leave off?
Okay, all right. So here's the thing. I'm like you. I have to finish. If it's a movie or if it's a series, I have to finish it.
Clearly, you stayed up dead as a nail, sick, tired to finish the Formula One race, even though you didn't want to.
Yeah.
Not taking away from how exciting it was.
So that's why I don't like getting into like new TV shows and stuff like that. Cause like people are like, oh, you got to watch this. You got to watch this. Cause I know the moment I watch a new TV series, I kind of have a little bit of an addictive personality in this sense where if I start a series, I have to finish that series. It's like I'll stay up until like I can't like stay up anymore and I pass out watching TV to like watch and get that whole like whatever 9
Season
finish. So that way I can put it past my life and I can move on with my life. Because if I don't, then I feel like I'm like at work or I'm doing something else. I'm like, what else is going on in the show? I need to know. And so I do. Yeah. Not only do I have to finish it, I have to finish it right away so I can just move on from it.
It's interesting. Part of the reason I asked is because I think I know that about you, like particularly with movie or series, TV series. Whereas for me, I have to finish a chapter and then I'm okay. So I finish one episode. As long as I finish the episode, I'm okay. And I was not okay because I tested this out with Aiden with the Game of Thrones, stopping it in the middle, and I'm still like, God damn it, I need to finish that episode.
Yeah. I can't stop it in the middle, and I can't stop it at the end because the end always has a cliffhanger, and I just want to know what the fuck happens on the next one.
See, for me, as long as I get to the end of that chapter, I'm okay. I'm like okay with the cliffhanger, but I have to feel like I finished it.
And that's with books too. Mm-hmm. But with books, I can like finish a chapter and then I'm okay. But if I'm within the last 100 pages of a book, I'm not gonna put down the book. I have to finish the book no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I have to finish the book if I'm within the last 100 pages.
All right.
It's kind of a pain sometimes. I mean, the only way I don't finish a book when I'm inside the last 100 pages is like if I'm just like falling asleep, slobbering in the book.
Yeah. All right. Well, the piece that I find interesting about the restaurants or whatnot, I have no fucking problem going to a grocery store or a restaurant without my phone. Like, I actually prefer not to do that. Whether like, I am worried about, unless I'm like absolutely worried about a call I might miss, I just want to go there and tune everything out. So I'll just have my beverage and my snack or chips and salsa common and then move on. None of not having a phone or not using a phone makes me feel antsy there. But here was one thing that I did this weekend. Normally when Aiden plays a ton of basketball, and normally when he wants new shoes, I am intricately involved. And let's find these shoes. I'm on the web with him on my phone. Very few people use computers for the web anymore. We're both on our phones, but I didn't this year. I left my phone down, and I was like, you've got to do this. You've got to solidify this purchase. Make sure they hold it, and we'll go drive and pick them up. And here's why it got really hard. is my old school mentality was like, give them a fucking call, tell them to put it on hold, and then let's go pick them up. It's a 35-mile drive with traffic. It's about a 50-minute drive to go from where we were to Flatirons Crossing each way. So we're talking about a 2-hour commitment once you have to get out of the car, get the shoes, and back. What does he do? This made it even harder. He didn't call to make sure they had them. He placed an online order. He's like, they say it should be ready in an hour, which you never know until they confirm the order, which could be an hour, which I just wanted to get this done. This part made me anxious. He's like, so we'll leave in 15 minutes. Should take 45 to get there, and we'll go pick him up. And I'm like, holy shit, all you had to do was give a goddamn call. And I'm not sharing any of this with him. Aiden, if you see this on the show, I'm not attacking you at all. This is all part of just reality. Is like, holy shit, all you had to do was call, make sure they had them in their hands, and then we leave in a minute and we go get them and we're done. Instead, we're waiting 15 minutes to pray that they're ready in an hour and that they have them when we go to pick them up. That one was really interesting because the piece there absolutely was technology that could have made my perception of control easier for myself, and I didn't. And that part made it a little interesting and anxious.
I agree with you on this 110%. You should have called.
Right? Like it takes a minute, maybe 3.
Well, here's the reason why you called, right? Or why you should have called. Because I've done this before too, like where I've ordered something online and then they're like, yeah, I'll be right here. And you get there and they're like, oh, sorry, we're all out. Like your website said you had it. You said you confirmed you had it. And I get here now, where is it? And they don't have it. So now you don't do that. Now I call. Like I'm like, do you guys have this? And if you have it, can you put it on? Can you put it on hold for me? Because I'm not going to drive there to tell me for you to tell me like it's not there. So like I think one of the first times when I first moved in here with you, the filters for the coffee maker. I went to like 4 different stores. They didn't have them. And so... And
you were bouncing between Super Walmarts and King Soopers.
Yeah, and I was like online. They say they have like 4 of them. I go there, and then the Walmart place is like, no, the guy at the customer service is like, no, we don't have those. I'm like, it says this right here in this aisle right here. And like, I'm over there. It says you guys have 4 of them. He's like, no, we don't have them. And then so like I'm like, he's like, try this, and he looks at his computer and he's like, oh, this other location has it. So I go over there, they don't have it either. So like that was like one of those times where I learned like, I don't care what the freaking computer says or what the phone or what the web says. I'm calling these mother effers now and making sure they have the freaking filters I need or whatever it is I want to pick up. So I agree with you 110%. He should have called, because just imagine if you got there, right? I'm not saying this I know how well you treat your kids, but I just know like if it was me and I had a son and he did it online and we drove like an hour there and we got out and they're like, oh, we don't have those shoes here, I would have to like try so hard not to blow up. Because I'd be so furious.
I'm like, right there with
like,
you.
Why didn't you motherfucking call them?
I mean, I could have like made a lesson out of it and been like, call, hey, do you have these shoes? Put them on hold. Jesse, not Aiden. I'll be there in 45 minutes.
So after like learning how to like go through that life lesson a few times, I'm still a firm believer in more of the old school approach of calling them and making sure they put them on hold. So I agree with you totally, 110% there.
That was an interesting one. What you got next?
All right, since I'm sure people have been hearing me cough here. My throat's a little bit dry, so I'm gonna go with this one here. Not that this is like totally out of the norm, but maybe it is a little bit out of the norm. I buy like freaking like vitamins and all kinds of weird shit all the time.
I have a closet that's the size of a bedroom of clothes. He's got the equivalent of vitamins.
But this time around, I don't eat a whole lot of vegetables or whatever, so I thought I'd try Field of Greens. And I don't normally do this. I've never done this, but I just opened this up. I know it's unopened because I got this like nice shaker bottle here that came with it.
Cool.
And I'm going to try it on air. So this is like something new. I don't do this.
You know, it's going to taste like a dog eating grass in the backyard.
Probably so. But apparently it's Field of Greens, real organic superfoods, full servings of vegetables, full servings of fruit, antioxidant powder, boost immunity. It's 1 scoop with your choice of beverage, 1 to 2 times daily. And
I choose vodka.
but it has a whole huge list of like a bunch of like things on here, like organic spinach powder, organic parsley powder, kale powder, barley grass, wheatgrass, banana, all kinds of weird stuff in here. Well, not weird stuff, but it's all veggies and stuff like that. So I'm going to give it a try on air. And I'll tell you guys if I think it tastes great. I don't know how good it actually is, but like the people who I heard about this from, they say it gives you like a lot more energy, and it helped them like get out and get their butts to the gym and stuff like that, because they just had like a bigger boost of energy and stuff, and they felt better. So here it is. I'm gonna try it out. It does have like a slight sweetness, maybe like with a tinge of banana, with putting clippings from your lawnmower in there. So like a grassy lawnmower taste with a hint of banana sweetness.
Not necessarily bad, by the way.
Not necessarily bad. It's just,
the one time I tried something like that, it tasted to me like I was eating grass with vegetables.
Yeah, it tastes like, basically it's like if you took like grass clippings and liquefied it, and like I said, just add like a tinge of like banana sweetness. That's what it kind of tastes like to me.
I can smell the banana.
Can you?
Yeah, I can literally smell the banana all the way over here.
I can't smell shit. My nose is now all stuffy.
No, the banana smells good, but I haven't smelled
it really
the
doesn't
grass
taste all that bad. And Jesse can tell you, like, I really just got this today. So I'm not making this up. Like, I haven't tried like this like all like a whole month or anything. Like, I literally just got it like right before we started filming.
Yeah, I had to go get
he got it out of the mailbox. So, honestly, yeah, maybe I'll do this every day. This is a 30-day thing. If I notice any difference at the end of the month or the end of 30 days, if it has any good positive effects for me, I'll let you guys know. But I just figured I'd try something new and taste something on air that's totally different than our Scotch. That was a new thing there. And I'm really just jumping here to that right now because my throat is itchy and I didn't want to keep drinking the Scotch. Not because I don't like the Scotch, it's just I have a cold.
I'm telling you, I will share with you already, the Scotch is losing its strength.
Is it?
At least to me. But as a blended beverage, it probably would add a lot. All right, I got 2 more things to share. What else you got?
I just got one.
All right, so I will share my next one. One of these is technology based, one of them's not.
Okay.
And what I will share with you is the one is technology based. I actually, and I think you probably have noticed this about me, I don't fucking use my phone while I drive. I leave it in my pocket or I leave it in my thing. Like, I don't fuck with my phone while I'm driving. I actually believe in not doing that. My kids, when, a decade ago now, they were the ones who were like, you shouldn't be on your phone when you drive. And I'm like, fuck, what the fuck do you know? You're a kid. And then later though, I'm like, I've known so many people now since that in the past decade that have gotten into accidents while they were using their phone that I don't, unless it's like, okay, call 911. And I did a trip where I used my phone several times texting. Dude, I will tell you right now, it made me feel super uncomfortable. I felt like I shouldn't be doing it. It made me feel wrong. It's the opposite of I don't have the technology to use in a restaurant like you were speaking of. It is, I have all this technology and I shouldn't be using it. Like I should go park in a fucking parking lot and go text or do any number of other things. It was very interesting because normally, the truth be told, like I let people know when I'm leaving work or doing something else when I'm leaving for the sole intention of, hey, once you know that I'm leaving, don't plan on me texting you until I get to the destination because I just want to focus on driving. Even before cell phones and texting while driving was an option, I never wanted to do any, like I didn't want to have conversations with people that were like meaningful conversations. If it's like, oh, this is great, what do you think of this, what do you think of that, and he's all of a sudden it's like, well, what do you think is the meaning of life while you're trying to drive? I don't want that fucking conversation while I'm driving. That's too much. I can't give either thing I'm supposed to be doing the attention, the conversation, or the driving. The driving could kill us. Like it has always in my lifeblood bothered me, and it literally made me feel uncomfortable texting while driving. So yeah, I'm not planning on doing that unless it's like super emergency status again.
It is actually really dangerous to text and drive. That's probably like one thing I do like about some of these newer cars. Like if you do have to take a phone call, they have the hands-free stuff. So that, but I get your point there as far as like, you
That's
know,
what I was going to say. You're taking a phone call. Yes, cut into his abdomen. Oh shit, I meant his ass.
like, because it's hands-free, you're not like holding the phone. And so, like, you're still driving, but it does take away some of the concentration, even though it is hands-free. So I do agree with you there. Although I am a bit guilty, though. I do take some phone calls while I'm driving. But I do agree with the whole, like, texting while you're driving thing. Yeah, that's just crazy because you're just asking for yourself to get into a car accident.
For me, it's not even about the hands-free piece. It's literally about I have 100% of my mental capacity, and now I'm splitting it between two things. One of them is driving. One of them is this other person's attention. And it's not that I don't want to have a conversation with the other person. It's not that driving's more important. But guess what? If our lives are in my hands, that is where my responsibility falls. And I can tell you over the last 20 plus years, I have pissed off a ton of people during conversations, most of them girlfriends or wives, because I got short with my answers. And they're like, why are you being such an asshole? It's like, because you're asking a question that you want an answer for now. And that's the answer you get while our lives are in my hands driving on a highway. Meanwhile, then later on, I'm like, shit, that's not what I wanted to say at all. But I just wanted to focus on one thing.
I think this brings up a good point, though, too. I think some of these cars nowadays with like the whole like infotainment centers and stuff like that.
What the fuck, Michael Douglas?
They're more of a distraction than anything. They really are. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if those cause some accidents. But I agree with you there.
Your last one.
My last one. Usually anymore, I made a move probably back in, I want to say about like 2016, 2017, where I started to move everything from physical books over into a digital format because I had bounced around, moved a lot, and like having like a bunch of boxes of books gets really old to like keep moving around. So, so that's why I started moving everything to digital, either like to like a digital format to where I can read on the iPad or audio to where I can listen to it. And so one of the things here is I got a new book.
I love this.
What?
You got a new book?
Yeah, got a new book. And I didn't get as far as I wanted to get into it because I had class this week and I've been sick, so I've been trying to sleep a little bit more. So I only just got a few pages into it, but I wanted to get the feel of having like a real book in my hand again. Although I couldn't find the hardback for this, I only had only found a paperback. But it's the Silva Mind Control Method. And the thing that interests me about this is this guy, Jose Silva, came up with the method of like how to bring or I think it has to do like more like kind of, I guess thinking more on like a metaphysical level maybe or whatever. But he's like, it's all about like attracting things into your life. And what I found was this article about this lady who's, I think it was his secretary or some other secretary who did this Silva mind control method, and she would win like a shitload of like contests, and she get like free trips all the time and stuff like that. And it was all based on this Silva's mind control method. So I'm like, might as well pick it up and read it and see what it's about and stuff like that. I just barely got like a few pages into it. Like I said, I just hadn't had the time because of being sick and teaching this week, and the projects I had to get done before Thanksgiving. But the nice thing is I do have a bunch of time coming up. So now I can read it and also catch up on a lot of the back episodes that we have. I won't get all the way caught up to 141, but this one will still come out on time, which will be on... I'm shooting for Thursday, but it might be Friday again, like last week, but it will be Thursday or Friday for this one. But then the other ones, we'll have 26 and probably 27, maybe 128 all coming out in short succession as well.
Awesome. All right. So my last one, and also I love reading books.
Before one thing.
Yeah.
Having actually a physical book is way different than reading digitally.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Because like one, you see like kind of like, you know how thick it is on one side and how far you made it. And just being able to like, you know, sometimes you get a brand new book. Not so much a paperback,
sensory.
But
sensory. You can touch it.
You can touch it.
Smell it.
And sometimes like when you get like a nice good hardback book or like a leather bound book, when you smell it, like the paper and the leather or even like paper and the hardback just smell so great.
Dude, I'm right there with you.
That just reminds me of that TV show You.
Dude, it also reminds me of me. Only because I think, you know, it's like I'm constantly buying leather bound books.
Yeah, you are.
And all preparing for my secret library, which also reminds me of you.
Not me, you.
Exactly. It's not me, it's you. Not you.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about the Netflix series You.
And was it originally Netflix the first year? Dude, dynamite.
It is.
And I still remember the first time I got...
Finish it?
3 seasons, right?
The last season, I think season 4.
I did not finish season 4. I finished 3 seasons.
He's in England now, right?
He went to England, yes.
Because I think the England one is season 4.
Oh, then
so you might be on season 4 first half, right?
Yeah, I finished season 4 first half.
So you haven't actually seen the end of season 4.
No.
Oh, you gotta see the end of season 4.
All right. Well, once I started though, I want to finish. And I got to finish Suits first because it's gonna be a future smarter challenge. Also, okay, so my last one here.
Yeah,
the
inner Harvey's better,
dude. This is not technologically based unless you consider the current textile situation for clothing different. And one thing I did, and this is very different for me, is when I think of athleisure. So I'm talking about tennis shoes, sport socks or no socks, sweatpants, nothing dressy, no polo shirts, maybe a t-shirt, usually some like thermal type of situation. Dude, I did athleisure for a whole fucking weekend. Fucking weird. Going in the store in sweatpants. Spending time with my kids in sweatpants wasn't so weird. But I did hear over the course of 2 days, 3 different people tell me, "Are you wearing sweatpants?" And I'm like, "No, goddammit, these are athleisure pants. They are a rayon polyester blend with some cotton in them too."
Well, I think here too, though, is like these are people that know you, so they know that that's not something you normally would do.
Yeah, what the fuck are you wearing, Jesse? Like, where are your loafers? Where are your leather loafers? I'm wearing fucking cheap ass. And when I say cheap ass, I'm talking the difference between a $200 or $400 loafer to a $120 tennis shoe.
Were you wearing your like Formula One Pumas?
I did wear them one day. But otherwise, I was wearing my cheap ass Nikes the rest of the time, and it fucking felt weird. Did you see my Formula Ones up there? Or
I thought they were right over there.
yeah, they're not over there. Oh yeah, they are still over there. The Puma Ferrari. Yeah, I wore them one day. No one said or did anything about them when I put my Nikes on with the same outfit. What are you wearing? It was different. It was interesting.
Sometimes and I know you mentioned like how you felt because you told me a little bit about your experience. It makes me wonder if we could get a perfect environment to replicate like you wearing kind of like what you're wearing right now, and you wearing your athleisure wear when you went to return that item to the store. Is it really like that guy had a different perception on you, like what you're wearing, or was that guy just like hated life and it was being that way no matter who you were?
Bitch better have my money.
Because there is a truism that the way you present yourself, other people view you differently. But then there's also the truism like the way whatever you wear, you view and perceive yourself differently.
100%.
So I'm wondering like if some of the things that you might have experienced might have just been more like your perception of things, or if it is part of the other, and I'm sure this is where it really truly is somewhere in the middle.
I think predominantly it's in the middle, but what I will say based on if I'm giving a 10-year experience, how you present yourself to others has a bigger impact on them than it does to you. However, it absolutely has an impact on you, but it still has a bigger impact on them.
See, and here's another thought here too. How much has that changed after COVID?
A ton. It continues to change. During COVID, it changed as well. It's continuing to evolve, and I think we're going back to what you and I loved about, some of our other experiences where, guess what? Suits and ties should be required in some restaurants. I think that's right.
It is right. And I think also in offices, it's right. And honestly, I'll put it like, I know I gained some weight after my car accident. Then right after the car accident came COVID. And then I never kind of got myself back into shape. So that's why you see me wearing my hoodies all the time still. Right. But nonetheless, I do think if I had or was forced to go back to an office setting and work inside an office every day, that kind of gives you more incentive to like go to the gym, stay in shape, and wear nice clothing. And I think that would actually be beneficial for people because I think the whole like at work at home stuff, I think it does two things. Is one, it makes people more sloppy, and two, it makes people more introverted and they have less connection to others. And I think it's a detriment, this type of technology. I don't know where that came from. I was just kind of jumping on board with yours a little bit with the whole dress thing.
No, I 100% agree.
So, anyways, that's all I have to share. I don't know. Did you have anything else?
As far as shares for this episode, that is it.
All right. So I guess we can wrap it up. Like overall experience. Like, what did you get out of it? For me, the one thing I got out of this is doing some things I normally don't do. One, even though I didn't get as far as I wanted to in my book, I only got a few pages in. I kind of refound like what I love about having physical books. Two, I think I kind of like rekindled a little bit about what I liked about the past where everyone didn't have a cell phone. And if I can actually get myself to a point where I don't have to have my cell phone every day or carry it with me, I'd love to go more in that direction anyways. Leaving the house, not having people be able to reach me at any given moment and stuff like that, I think is nice. On the flip side, though, it's nice to have in case of an emergency, but how often do you come across those? And as far as this like Field of Greens things, I don't know. That's a toss-up. I have no idea. What about the other than just drinking sweet flavored grass.
Dude, I think it's great. I just...
Well, like I said, we'll see what happens in about 30 days. But
there's the movie Field of Dreams, and apparently Noah's living the movie Field of Greens.
So, but I think overall, It was kind of a fun experiment to kind of go without the phone for a couple things. Fun experience to re-pick up a book and kind of get that physicalness out of the touch, smell, and feel of reading a book. And also, I think it's better for your eyesight too, because you're not having like that blue light burn into your retinas and stuff like that. So overall, I say, if you get a chance, try to go without your cell phone and pick up a real book.
Amen. All right, you just mentioned that, picking up a real book. Just out of curiosity, I'm still trying to think about mine. I'll have an answer here in the next 60 seconds as well, and could ultimately change. But if you had to think of one book growing up between birth and 21 years of age, do you have a favorite book you read? Like something that, even though you may or may not ever read it again, or you may want to read it every year for the rest of your life, or even more frequently than that, was there a best book in grade school, middle school, high school before you were 21 of legal drinking age?
Before legal drinking age?
Just to create a cutoff.
Growing up, I hated reading. I really did. I hated reading. I hated picking up books. And I think the reason why is because I didn't like being forced to read and having to do like book reports and stuff like that. I didn't really start to enjoy reading until I went to college. When I actually started like picking up books more for leisure. And one of the very first like sets of series, and I didn't go all the way through the series, that I enjoyed was the Interview with the Vampire series.
Oh, fuck yeah, Anne Rice.
Yeah, and the reason why the reason why I stopped reading some of like her Vampire Chronicle books is because like it got too like homo erotic for me.
Yeah, dude, get over it.
but initially, like the first definitely the first 3 books I really enjoyed because I felt like when I was reading them, it felt more like history. Like I was reading history about learning about a different like society and stuff like that, and how like a different culture worked. And so I really enjoyed at least the first 3 books of being like Interview with the Vampire, Lestat, and The Queen of the Dam. So I really enjoyed those. I think there was a couple of Michael Crichton books. There's the one where, it's I know what the book is about, and there was a Wesley Snipe movie that was done about it where it was a murder and it had to do with Japanese people.
Rising Sun. Fucking phenomenal movie.
It was a great movie, but I loved the book so much more. There's been other books I've read outside of like older, but like if you ask me like before drinking age, I'm gonna tell you.
Well, you're good enough, man. You already said Interview with the Vampire. Whether or not it's before drinking age, that's good. I'm just curious because for me, man, my mom read me so many books, and I have so many fond memories. And hers, as far as like frivolosity, if that's truly a word, unnecessary, in other words, outweigh any of them. But the one most impactful dynamic to me was when my dad read with me Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare, so I could get a great grade freshman year in high school. It changed my life.
That's awesome they had that, because I think for me growing up, like my parents were divorced, and my mom being a single mom, and then I'd go see my dad on the weekends, and my dad, if I would go visit him on the weekends, he was really big into doing like amateur bowling, and he was getting to the point to where until he like walked off of scaffolding hanging drywall, he was getting his average pretty close to where he could go on to the PBA tour. So I spent like a lot of my like childhood in bowling alleys, eating like a bunch of like freaking like bowling alley food and shit like that,
Fries, cheese sticks,
and playing video games. Like he just gave me like rolls and rolls of quarters to go play video games as he's like bowling in these tournaments, and
Trying to get all 3 holes filled.
And so I remember, I think I told you this too, and I might have shared this with you guys here who watch us, but there was I think that one of the things I remember a lot about my dad is like on the weekends though, like after he got done with his bowling tour stuff, we'd go see movies. So I think that's one of the reasons why I love going to the theaters all the time to go see movies, is because it kind of ties back into those fond memories. And like my mom, being a single mom, like she didn't really have time to really sit there and read with me and stuff like that. So I think that maybe that's like some of the reasons why I wasn't as big of a reader when I was younger. But I think it's great that you had that.
I was blessed. I look in my entire life, but part of that is also think about all the people who didn't have the movies or the bowling experiences that you did. You're also blessed. All right. Well, that's pretty important. Let's go ahead and close this show, and then we'll introduce the aspects of the next.
All right. Are we actually doing the closing? You want me to do the closing remarks? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if you're ready for it, or if you have something else to say.
No.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, if you guys lasted this long, thank you very much for all those viewers who watch us on YouTube and Rumble. We greatly appreciate all of you. And to all the many listeners on the many different podcast platforms, we greatly appreciate you as well. I do apologize. I didn't say that up front like I normally do. And please like, share, and subscribe, and leave some comments down below, and we'll have Jesse close us out.
All right. So as Noah's closing us out, next week on our show, we are going for, we're going to continue to structure our show. We're fighting and going for 6 memories from our youth between 2 or more of our elders. So we're going to share with 2 or more of our elders. These can be parents, aunts, uncles, anyone that was older than us, cousins even, what you loved and appreciate, or truly still love and appreciate about them, and why you are proud of them. Ultimately meaning how much they mean to you. And then we're going to come back and share some of these pieces. So our real goal is to share 6 pieces. We can share more if we have so many that are that dynamic that we need to. But I'm telling you already, I'm going to go to my mom, and I know you are. I'm going to go to my dad. And I don't know if I'll go to many other people besides those 2, but tell them about some of the experiences that I remember growing up that meant so goddamn much to me, and the whys and how it's impacted me. Again, we're looking for 6 or more. So if it's 2 people, 3 each. If it's 3 people, 2 each or more. Really looking at how did it make you feel? And then also, now that you've shared this all these years later, how is it making them feel? Like, what was their response ultimately? Because understanding, going back off of my last piece of
Asking for advice, these people were impacted. These are the same people most likely we're going to go to. And if you need to go to younger people, that's just fine. And if you want to go to younger people, even better for it. But people that have impacted your life positively, and you're going through and you've asked them for advice. Now we're going to go back and be like, hey, I just want to share with you all these different ways you impacted me positively. How do you feel? What's the impact? You don't have to even ask them, but they're just going to tell you. Or if not, then ask them. And I want to see if that makes us consider how we're going to react the rest of our lives on this planet, because they made an action that impacted us so much. Kill everybody.
Maybe, but they
joking. Everybody joking.
They made an action that impacted us so much that we shared it with them, and now they're sharing with us the impact, and we should carry things forward. That's truly my belief. Is ultimately that's the long-term goal, is sharing with this to get the response, to understand as we continue to age when we have these things, are we doing what we can each and every day to help the people that will never need to appreciate us in the future, but having a positive impact on their life to that dynamic magnitude that we do it regardless? That's really my goal. So with that, as Noah was already saying, thank you guys for everyone who watches. Please like, share, subscribe. He's got the link for, Podbean
Oh yeah, Podbean.
at the bottom. Without that though, whatever you can do. If you want to be on the show, we're going back here. If you want to be on the show, let us freaking know. We can make this happen. We can do it here in a room, or we can do it over the phone or a computer. We can make a lot of things happen. So please share that with us. Remember, life is not always going to be easy. It shouldn't always be easy, but that doesn't mean it can't be fun. Life is great. And as we continue until next week, Scotchman! Cheers.
We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a Patron member, with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening.